Though individuals obsess over it as a personal problem, it is given little attention as a medical problem on a national scale. Indeed, as one prominent doctor put it a few years ago, with any other condition, it would be called an epidemic. The problem is obesity, and it kills an estimated 300,000 people each year with no end in sight. It boggles my mind that in the time that I've been in college, 1.5 million of my countrymen have lost their lives because of this disease. In the next few moments, I intend to discuss with you the effects and the causes of obesity. It's not a stretch to say that all of us know someone who is overweight. Most of us know someone who is morbidly obese. What we fail to realize, though, is that according to the National Academy of Sciences, 66% of all Americans is clinically obese. That is, 2 out of 3 of us are too heavy for optimum health. Why? Why are 58 million Americans plagued by excessive weight? What has caused us as a nation to become so out of control? The prevailing causes of obesity are obvious and far-reaching. Among them are these. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, during the 1920s and 1930s, the average American consumed between 3,200 and 3,400 calories per day. By 1970, that number had grown to 3,400 calories per day, and by 1997, that number had swollen to a whopping 3,700 calories per day. In the past 20 years, our eating habits have grown worse far more quickly than they had in the 30 years preceding. In 1965, the average American consumed 117 gallons per year of citrus juices, soft drinks, beer, and wine. By 1994, on the average, Americans were consuming 167 gallons of such items, and only 9 of those gallons were comprised of bottled water. In 1993, Americans spent $49 billion on carbonated soft drinks alone. Breaking that down a bit, that figure is greater than the gross domestic product of countries like Ireland or New Zealand. This figure marks a 140% increase in the consumption rate of soft drinks since 1965. In that year, the average American drank 19 gallons of soft drinks. Today, the average is 52 gallons per year, and that number is growing. Now that we've looked at drinks as a cause and our beverages, let's take a look at the increase in our portion sizes and what it is that we're eating. Pizza Hut recently introduced its new stuffed crust pizza. 4 slices of this food contains well over 1,700 calories. According to Fast Food Facts by Dr. Marion Franz, that's enough to sustain one for an entire day. McDonald's started out with the humble hamburger at a mild 3.7 ounces. Then came the Quarter Pounder at a healthy, or rather unhealthy, 6 ounces, and then the Big Mac at a whopping 7.6 ounces. The newest addition to the McDonald's lineup is the Arch Deluxe, which tips the scales at a colossal 9 ounces. In some parts of the country, McDonald's is actually marketing a double Big Mac, consisting of 4 beef patties and a gross weight that measures more accurately in tons. Denny's restaurant offers the Super Slam and Play It Again Slam breakfasts at a savings over more humanly sized portions. The breakfasts both include 3 eggs, 3 strips of bacon, 3 sausage links, and 3 pancakes. They come with an option for biscuits and gravy as well. Although the owners and operators of these food chains know the caloric content of the food they serve, they justify it by saying people don't eat like this every day. It's a treat, a break from the norm. But as the prevalence of larger portions and the sales of fast food suggest, bad food in larger portions is becoming less of a treat and more of the norm. 25% of the $97 billion spent last year on food, groceries included, was spent on food marketed solely by being the best value by virtue of having added ingredients or larger sizes. Another factor in our obesity is the decline of exercise. 60% of Americans are either completely inactive or irregularly active. 27% of women and 17% of men over the age of 20 have no form of physical leisure activity. Exercise is declining in the post-teen years. In 1986, a study for the President's Council on Personal Fitness found that teenage girls performed worse than a decade earlier in fitness-related tasks such as sit-ups and the standing long jump. Children's fitness is worse than ever. As the grade in school progresses, fitness declines. Yet another factor in our obesity is our electric playmates. The average American, regardless of age, watches approximately 1,539 hours of television and 51 hours of video each year. That is the equivalent of 10 solid weeks of television. This constitutes 1/5 of every year we spend on our backsides watching the tube. According to Michael Fumento's book, The Fat of the Land, 42% of computer users said that they did less work and played less sports to spend more time on their computers. There are a few ailments as widespread and far-reaching as clinical obesity. The range of diseases caused by or contributed to by obesity is alarming. Here are some of the effects of obesity. Obese people are 30% more likely to develop heart disease, 250% more likely to have a blood clot or a blood clot-related stroke. 50% of all cases of adult onset diabetes could have been prevented by controlling obesity. Obese people are more likely to have high cholesterol. There is a direct correlation between body mass and triglyceride levels, or blood fat levels. Obese men are 33% more likely to have any form of cancer, and women are 53% more likely. Obese women are 6 times more likely to develop to develop osteoarthritis. Another alarming effect of obesity is the decline in the quality of life. According to Michael Fumento, obese people are less valued as potential marital partners. Persons who have lost weight report an increase in sexual relations with their partners, and the same spouses regard their thinner partners as being more sexually attractive. Obese persons have more difficulty arranging dates and establishing intimate relationships. Obese persons usually marry later, and their spouses tend to be less desirable than the spouses of thinner persons. Obesity and premature death. The American Cancer Society recently published a chart demonstrating the increase in the likelihood of premature death as the percentage of overweight grows. Simply, here is what they found. Persons who are 10 to 19% overweight stand a 17% chance of dying early. Persons who are 20 to 29% overweight, that percentage increases to 29%. Persons who are 30 to 39% overweight stand a 46% chance of dying early. And the most startling fact of all, people who are 40 to 49% over their ideal weight stand an 87% chance of dying before their life expectancy. The problem of cultural obesity is one with far-reaching and devastating effects. Most of us remember last fall when actor John Candy died of a massive heart attack. I remember vividly when my grandmother and grandfather passed away. These were my mentors, the people that I wanted to be like. All were my heroes, and all died early because of obesity. John Candy was 46 last fall when he died. I was 23. I got scared. At that point in my life, I weighed 442 pounds. Mr. Candy weighed 448. I determined to change the way that I was living then and there, and in the months since, I've lost 165 pounds in an attempt to lower my chances of dying prematurely because of obesity. It is clear after looking at the causes and the effects of this terrible crisis that something must be done. Something must be done soon. Last December 4th, there were 300,000 people alive who aren't alive today. On November 4th this year, there were 25,000 people alive who aren't alive today. Last Thursday, there were 5,642 people alive who aren't alive now. This morning, there were 806 people alive who aren't alive as I'm speaking. And just 1 hour ago, there were 34 people alive who are not living this moment. Something must be done to end the largest medical crisis in this country, or sooner than you think. One of that 300,000 may be someone you love, maybe you. Thank you.
Our next presenter this evening is Susie Yentis from B.J. Seifert's class. Is in the nursing, an ICU nurse at St. Joe.